Plans to expand adventure plates to dungeons. Success of duty support feature. Comments on that Y'shtola scene. What's that Y'shtola scene? What's that Y'shtola scene? Sex. Oh, froth and foam. Oh, okay. Okay. Since the implementation of duty support at 6.1, the number of new players starting the game has increased, and especially in Japan. People who were hesitant about the MMO genre are coming in. Because of this, he still thinks there's potential for further growth in the Japanese market. He also says he's happy there's been so much feedback from new players saying it's easier and more fun than they imagined. Not playing with people. Oh. In the main story for 6.1, he gave the direction that the dialogue should have a positive sound to it. For example, while it might have been in the character for Y'shtola to have a sarcastic line when you meet up with her, that could make a negative impression. With how Endwalker wrapped up the story arc and sent the characters on their own paths, for the next patch 4 months later, he wanted the reunions with characters like Y'shtola to have a positive vibe to them in keeping with setting out on a new adventure. He also comments on our reunion with Estinian. Based on what happens in Endwalker, you'd expect Estinian to get tricked again, but then it turns out he knows it's a scam. It's true. It's a fun scene because players have travelled this far with these characters and have seen Estinian's character growth. He now understands money. He was a bit worried people would forget who Nabdeen was in the final scenes of 6.1. Who? Yeah, I called out. I don't remember who that is. Fuck. Nabdeen. I'll know him if I see him. Hang on, I'm on a website that takes a year and a half to unlock. Nabdeen. Or a guard from the tower. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yoshida on that Y'shtola scene. I really was at a loss what to do. There was a part of me that felt, aren't we getting a bit carried away here? One point we pay attention to is to not turn Y'shtola into a joke. For sure, within the community, you've got things like people calling her mummy. But it would be wrong to indulge that. True! Correct! Correct! That is a true. Properly speaking, we should handle Y'shtola's character properly, and I don't much like just drawing on this one character trait. So I felt this to be the breaking point, and we shouldn't go further than this. By the way, I hear Y'shtola's voice actor, Keanu Ai, performed a lot of different takes on this scene. He continued. I'm thinking we should stop breaking the characters any more than this. This time it ended up with Y'shtola having a magical girl phase where she was self-consciously cute. She's not mommy. Matoya's mommy. On the Treasure Hunt Dungeons, he hints that the dialogue about Urianger and the Loporrits is tied to future updates. The next update will be in line with what comes before, as it's no... But in the longer term, he is thinking about adding some different types of gameplay for treasure hunts. The interviewer brings up the 6.1 Void scenes like links to FF4 and our praise be to Golbez. Yoshida is pretty coy in his response, but does mention that the previous discussions that Endwalker is an homage to FF4 in 6.0's main story, this was perhaps less than people expected. But the FF14 team is aiming to pay off people's expectations in that regard. We'll definitely get the Throne Primal fights, aren't we? On Aglaya. This time an unnamed junior writer who was noted for their work in the 5X on the Beast Tribes and so on was given the challenge of stepping up and writing the scenario for this Alliance raid. Ishikawa and Yoshida made various outlines for the story, and this was weaved together with the junior writer's ideas. It is implied the 12, specifically mentioning Nafika, could look different than the in-game depictions we've seen from their worshippers so far. They could even have different genders. Okay. He didn't think Nald Thal would be so popular compared to Azima. He's impressed by the amount of fan art of the 12 since Aglia... Well, maybe you should let us make some displays about it then. The scales mechanic started out quite unforgiving, so it took a while and quite a bit of work to figure out how to adjust it. Just saying, just saying. On the Crystalline Conflict, just the planning stage took around a year. The team in charge of PvP don't just work on PvP, but all sorts of other battle content and job design. So it wasn't constant planning for the entire year, but it still took quite a while. Well, we'll pay off for it in our PvP tournament, 25th of June. Make sure you're here. The first decision in the planning stage was to get rid of role bindings, as in Feast, where teams had to have tanks and healers. The starting point was to give each PvP job self-heals and to make their skills job-specific rather than role-specific. After this initial plan, there were various ideas such as Blue Mage only PvP. The idea was for it to be a Battle Royale style system with a large arena in a gradually narrowing area. Instead of picking up weapons, you'd use Blue Mage's learning ability and fight with the abilities you learn. Oh, that could be really fun. That could be really fun. Yeah, that sounds just so dumb and silly, doesn't it? That sounds really stupid and fun. I like it. For the main non-Blue Mage PvP mode, it was considered at one point to narrow things down to only 8 jobs. However, the team in charge of PvP emphasized that people will want to play their own jobs in PvP. The team has been able to give the jobs very distinct abilities with their limit breaks, some that otherwise would be hard to fit in an MMORPG, such as a Dragoon going invincible for a while with their jump limit break. Yeah, balanced it is not. Regarding Dragonsong, he praises the skill of Raiders since the new ultimate is even harder than Ukob. For the next ultimate, it may be hard for the team to keep making this level of difficulty each time. It is Nakagawa, aka Mr. Ozma's idea for the Heavensward story to play a big part in the Dragonsong ultimate. This was the idea from the very start. There are already ideas for the next ultimates after 6-3, but the team are discussing whether to calm things down for the time being, since making it with so much story each time might be hard. The devs are going to experiment with implementing adventure plates into other content, starting with 4-man dungeons, in a way that doesn't interfere or interrupt players' experiences. What does that mean? What can they do with the adventure plates to make that happen? What do you think? A Kefka Warring Triad ultimate? Yeah, maybe. Have we got the list of exactly what we're getting tomorrow? That would be cool. We got linkers. Oh, voting commendations, they appear. Oh, that would make sense. Yeah, if you could pick on their picture. We're getting Hildebrand tomorrow, where it shows plates before starting. Yeah, that could be cool. Oh, it's the Tataru quest tomorrow. Ooh. Dope. That's actually dope. That is super dope. I can't wait for that. So we'll play that next week. So like same as we did with Endwalker stuff, yeah? We'll make sure everybody can have fun enjoying the story themselves before we jump into it. It should be dope.